BBC Archive Voices. Bette Davis. Profile. Broadcast on BBC Television, 12th of September 1958.
Meet a film star, Bette Davis. For 25 years, those eyes of Bette Davis have worked their magic all over the world. When Bette Davis was in England last summer, she asked me to drive down to the Edgwarebury Country Club to have tea with her. She was just about to start work on her second British film, The Scapegoat, in which she stars with Alec Guinness. I had hoped it would be a sunny day, so that we could sit in the garden for tea. What a hope.
Miss Davis, I apologize for our climate.
Oh, please don't. It's quite like our own.
It is, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Miss Davis, you began your career in the theatre. Did you intend to stay in the theatre, or did you just look at it as training for the films?
No, I actually started in the theatre to be in the theatre. Because, of course, when I started in the theatre, we had silent pictures. I don't think any theatre people had any idea what would happen when sound came in, as we say. It was a complete revolution, actually, because then they did need actors trained for the theatre because of the sound. So then there was an enormous trek to Hollywood by practically, they signed practically all of us as tests, to see if we would work there or not.
Now, did you go to films because you felt that there was more scope for an actress in films than in the theatre?
Well, I look back on it, I don't know. I guess I felt that if it was an opportunity that I, as a very young person, couldn't afford to miss, probably. I didn't go with great anticipation.
You didn't?
No, not at all. But I felt I was probably very fortunate, and I should give it a try. No, well, I had a very difficult time in the beginning. I was not welcomed with open arms. As a matter of fact, I arrived in the Los Angeles station and had been told I would be met by the Universal officials, which was my studio, and no one was there to meet me at all. So we kind of staggered to the hotel, finding our way around, my mother and I called the studio, and I said, why wasn't anyone there to meet me? And they said, well, we didn't see anyone get off the train who looked like an actress. So I said, well, I had a dog with me. They should have known. But it was incredible. It was just a whole new era, and we all felt we should try it, I think. The whole thing was new to everyone. Everybody was starting in a new business, the technicians as well as the people from the theatre. And, of course, I hadn't been in the theatre for that many years to be thrown. The camera rather embarrassed me, actually. Yeah. I sort of was always very happy if my back were turned and I didn't have to be seen. The advantage of the stage actor is that he does spend his weeks working and getting it sort of set before the audience sees it. We, after all, have to walk on a stage one fine Monday morning at dawn and do something that millions of people will see just as much that morning as they will 6 weeks later when we have learned how to play the part. Well, I've never actually ever been very bright about the camera and the technical part. This is one thing I've not coped with. See, this is awkward. As far as the emotional continuity is concerned, this is really training. This is the hardest thing, of course, for the theatre actress to do when she starts in films. We talked about that a little earlier. To leave off for half an hour and come back and hit the same pitch. And actually, George Arliss, who was my great mentor at the time when Hollywood was about kafoofed for me, gave me a very good hit once. He said, never make a scene in front of a camera that you don't remember what went before and what went after. Then it will usually tie in. Yeah. In other words, just don't sort of go in without reviewing in your mind exactly how it was.
I read on a poster once that nobody's as good as Bette Davis when she's bad. You have played quite a number of bad women. Is it because you think playing nice women is dull?
Well, of course, I sort of never call them bad women. I have a theory that no one person is all bad and no one person is all good. The only requirement I have is character, at least, is definite, whether good or bad. I think the more definite people tend to have more sort of evil traits, the more interesting people. And that is probably why.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?